Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome to a freshly grounded episode, I believe 29, man. Sam, how does it feel? Sam? Oh, man. I'm going to have to do this more alone. Guys, Sam is not here for this episode, unfortunately. This is our first episode without Sam, man. It's just me and Red. Sam is in Dublin currently doing a launch of his brand new Menspire store. May Allah bless it. Guys, we didn't know whether to do an episode this week. I didn't know whether to stay consistent, like every Friday. We promised that we'd have an episode out every Friday, and then I didn't know whether we should miss the ones without Sam. So you put out a poll on Instagram. It was very tight, but the majority of you said still put out episodes so that we stay consistent. We'll go into that a bit more into the podcast. But yeah, this is episode 29, I believe. And yeah, man, I'll just go straight into the sponsorships and we'll just start the episode. I'm feeling real lonely though, guys. I'm feeling real lonely. So I'm going to need you guys to stick with me here. I'm going to need you guys to give me some support and some morale. See, I'm losing it already. Who is this even sponsored by? This podcast is brought to you by Al Furqan. I want to say school. Al Furqan, which is a Islamic Saturday school. Al Furqan is Islamic Saturday School in St. Albans. It teaches children in and around St. Albans how to read Quran, basic Islamic studies, age from 3 years old all the way to 18 years old. However, if you're an adult, they also do adult class that takes place on Fridays, on Friday evenings after work. The weekend has started. No better way to start the weekend than in the remembrance of Allah. So it's a school that is based upon Quran and Sunnah. They do everything according to the Quran and Sunnah as understood by the Salaf. If you want to check it out, you want to send your children there, I would very much so recommend it. Go to furqanstalbans.org. So that's FURQANSTALBANS.org. Also brought to you by 5950_NINE on Instagram, 59 on Stanhope Road in St. Albans. It's a cafe and wellness cafe, definitely not a bar. It's a cafe and wellness center, I suppose. Nah, it's definitely just a cafe. It's a coffee shop, a cafe, got fresh food, fresh snacks, fresh coffee, amazing coffee, fresh juices, detox your body, look after yourselves. 59 Stanhope Road. If you go there this month, you get, oh man, I can't remember the deal, y'all. You get, I believe, you get 50% off a tote bag. That's what I do know. And you also get, I believe, a free energy ball with every fresh juice you order. I might be wrong, but I believe that's right. So go ahead and do that. You have to quote 59 to the staff there. Also sponsored by izaha.com, izaha.com. Probably the most fire Arabic caps in the game, to be honest. Arabic caps, Arabic hats. We got camera caps. We got caps that say love, peace, power, all in Arabic. If you type in freshly grounded, you get 20% off in your cart. Guys, that's also what you buy Flavor, Flavr. Guys, the Flavor website has launched. You can finally go to flavor.co, flavr.co. Flavor is your one-stop shop for social media marketing. It's a marketing agency, it's a branding agency, iPhone applications, websites. If you have a brand, let's say, for example, you are the owner of a... what can I see here? A microphone brand. Oh, is that the best you can comment, Faisal? No, I'm not even going to go there because the microphone brand. All right, let's say your furniture shop, your local furniture business, and you have been in the furniture game for a long time. You have a beautiful shop, but you know that nowadays social media is a way to market your business. You want to put some adverts out on Instagram. You want to target your audience. You want to put adverts out on Facebook. You want to create amazing Instagram content. You want people to tweet for you. You want people to post for you. You want people to reply to your DMs, attain customers for you, outreach more people, a customer service department. Flavor does all of this. flavr.co. Head over to our website. There's a mobile number there. Give them a call, inshallah, and see what they can do. With that being said, guys, I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to go straight into the episode because I haven't got Sam here to bounce off of mine. So guys, episode, I hope it is 29. I'm going to check because imagine if I've been saying 29 this whole time and it's not even 29. All right, guys, let me let you guys know. I should know my own podcast, really, shouldn't I? This is a bit of a shambles. Let me just check real quick. I can't even find it now. Freshly grounded. Where you at? All right, here we go. Yes, episode 29. Guys, this is Freshly Grounded, episode 29. Take it away. And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
After that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
I can't tell the difference between a cappuccino. I know the difference between like a cappuccino, latte, and like different types of coffee. This is something that would be perfect if Sam was here, but because I'm drinking a cappuccino right now, I can tell the taste is different in a cappuccino. I can tell that like it's foamier and that kind of stuff, and a latte tastes more like milky. But bro, when I watch them make, like today, I made a conscious effort to watch the barista. I was about to say barista.
Yeah.
Watch the barista. Like I made a conscious effort to watch her make my cappuccino. Yeah. And bro, the way she's making it is the exact same way I watch baristas make the latte. Like she's putting the coffee into the little cup holder, into a little coffee thing, and they put it into the machine, and then the coffee comes out in liquid, and then they get the milk, or in my case soy milk, and then pour it into the jug, steam that, and then pour the milk and the coffee into a cup.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they do with the latte. I'm so confused as to where the difference is and why it tastes different.
I don't know, but the cappuccino is evidently more richer than the latte, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I can understand what you're saying. But then again, for me, whatever beverage I get from Starbucks, Costa, whatever, they all seem the same, to be honest.
Now you can tell a small difference. Like,
small differences.
You're right. A cappuccino. If I feel like more coffee, if I feel like I want to have the taste of coffee more, I'll get cappuccino because it's like a stronger taste. But I can taste the difference, but I just don't know. I can't see the difference in the making. It must be such a small, intricate difference. Like perhaps like they steam the milk for a bit longer or something.
Yeah,
I'd love to ask Sam.
Yeah. Sam would definitely know about this because he's thoroughly.
And he's been barista trained.
Yeah, he's been barista trained and he's been to like so many festivals and he's taken an actual course on it, so it's pretty amazing. But how are you doing?
Man, speaking of Sam, Red, I'm feeling. There's gonna be a lot of times in this podcast I'll call you Sam by accident.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm feeling lonely, man. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling real sad. We haven't got Sam today in the building. It's our first ever Freshly Grounded episode without Sam. It kind of feels like the next phase all over again. But yeah, it doesn't feel good, man. So basically what happened is Sam's in Dublin right now, launching the brand new Men's Buyer store, which we'll definitely talk about and go into a bit more. And so I had this thing where I was thinking yesterday, I often think that a podcast, we basically said at the beginning that we will launch a new episode every Friday, right? And then for like the first 20 episodes, we literally did that. And then like we started falling off once or twice when things got busy. So obviously, as you know, Sam's got like constantly doing new business ventures, this, that, the other. He's international director of Men's Buy, which means he's constantly traveling. And also, regardless of whether I'm busy or not, where we film and shoot Freshly Grounded is inside our studio, so I don't have to like go anywhere. I have to just come to work like I normally do, and we just have to take time out. Where Sam has to come from St Albans, which isn't even in London, travel in, which is a big commute, and then he spends hours here, and then he has to spend another hour getting back. And so for him, it's a larger kind of commitment, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so I did always imagine that there would be times like this where he just wouldn't be able to make it because of other commitments, and we have to bear in mind that as much as we love Freshly Grounded and love doing it, it's also like I don't want to call it a side project because we both love it so much, but it's it's more of a thing that we're doing for the sake of Allah, and that doesn't mean we're not intending to eventually get some sort of financial benefit from it, but right now we're not. And right now, and it will always be for the sake of Allah, but obviously if we constantly take a time out of our work, it makes sense to like redeem some kind of like benefit from it, inshallah, if that's what Allah wills. My point is, because it is like somewhat of a side project, it has to take a back step over certain things that are required from us, so like work stuff. And so there are times where Sam can't make it in. And I'm sure there'll be times where I can't do it, which is, I mean, a bit more unlikely because I literally edit all the episodes and I have to do like, it's in our studio. But So I was thinking yesterday, we've done a couple episodes where we've literally missed a whole week and then gone to the next week. And then I haven't liked that, man. I haven't enjoyed it. And for me, I think consistency is key. Even in our religion, there's a hadith that talks about how Allah loves deeds that are consistent, even if they are like small, but it's the consistency that Allah loves, right? And so even if we look at an Islamic perspective, like it's important for us to be consistent with what we do, even if it's small. And I wanted to stay consistent with the podcasts. So then I considered doing episodes by myself, like just me and you chatting on the podcast. And then I didn't know if that was something that I should definitely do, if that's something, because Freshly Grounded at the end of the day is like, the point of the thing that people love about it is the chemistry between Sam and I, and Sam and I and you. That doesn't even make sense. Sam, you and I. I don't know. My uncle would be mad at me because he's a proper like
grammatical freak.
Yeah, but I didn't know if that's something that we should do or not. But then I thought I think that consistency is important, and I think that viewers or listeners will like fall off the podcast if they don't. If like we miss a whole week, so they're waiting like 2 weeks to get an episode out, and already one episode a week is not that many episodes. Most podcasts do either 2 episodes a week or way more. Some even do one every day. And so that was going through my head, and then so I spoke to you yesterday about it, and I said, would you consider doing an episode just me and you? And you were up for it. So I was like, all right, cool, me and you are up for it. Let me speak to Sam, because Sam's definitely like 50% of this entire thing. So let me speak to Sam and get his approval. And I spoke to Sam, and Sam was like, bro, listen, that sounds amazing. Consistency is key. It'd be amazing if we can carry on getting episodes out even when I'm not here. So I was like, perfect, we got Sam's approval. So then finally I wanted the approval of the listeners, because they're the ones who are going to listen to it at the end of the day. And so I put out a poll on my Instagram and yesterday, and at first it was like 70% said yes, still do an episode even though Sam's not here. But that was because like I literally just put it out, so it might have been like 2 people who voted yes and 1 person voted no, whatever. But now we've had I don't know how many, but near enough 1,000 votes, and it's 53% said still put out an episode, and 47% said no, wait until Sam's back, which is very, very close. Which surprised me, but it makes a lot of sense. And I'll tell you why, because I listen to some podcasts, and some podcasts that I listen to are like more than one person, and I'll be honest, because I love the chemistry of the people so much, if the other person isn't there, if one or the other person isn't there, I tend to not listen to the podcast. I tend to just like skip it and wait till the next week. However, I still, because 53, the majority of people said that they still want an episode, we're going to shoot this. And second of all, bro, like if we think about one of the reasons that we do this, one of the reasons, and like the mainest reason we do this, is to create content for people's ears on their commute to work, on their commute to school. It's not my YouTube videos where like it's 5-10 minutes long and I'm like making an idiot out of myself. Like this is like real, raw, uncut, live, serious talks. Like it's not really meant to be a joke. And we create the main intention here is to create audio content that people can listen to on their commute to work, on their commute to school, so that they don't necessarily have to listen to music, and so that they're not listening to like, you know, people like Nicki Minaj talking about the most disgusting things, and like all these rappers. It just pollutes people's ears. And so if we look at it with that mentality only, it makes sense to get an episode out every week, regardless of who is going to be on the show, because it still provides people that extra content for that extra week, where potentially they have an ulterior thing to listen to. Does that make sense?
That being said, I do really miss Sam.
That being said, I do.
Yeah. But no, I agree with everything that you said wholeheartedly. That's why I'm here today with you.
Yeah, man. And because Sam's not here, I imagine that the podcast will not be as like funny per se. It'll be more like serious, but that's cool as well, man. Not every day funny. Like I literally spend all day, every day, like filming stuff on YouTube, where I'm trying like my best to like make people laugh and stuff. So it feels nice to just have a normal chat as well. I think people don't think that I have like a personality trait where I'm like, I can be serious, and like, you know, by working with me, that 80% is serious.
I can definitely confirm that. Although you are a very fun individual in a professional workspace, you're very serious, but you still have an air of like, you don't take everything too seriously. Right. Everything's with a pinch of salt. You got a perfect balance. I would say that.
No.
Alhamdulillah.
I think my balance is actually too much the other way, like too serious sometimes, most of the time. But anyway, Bro, speaking of that, yeah. So I put out last week on Friday. I put out a thing. So I watched this documentary that Uma showed me about. It's about some like businessman in Dubai who's basically he was the heir. So his dad like created this business, and now they've got like the most properties that anybody has in Dubai, etc., etc. His name is Mohammed Al Habtour, and one thing I found amazing about the documentary is that so this guy is the like busiest man you'd ever see. So the video story was a 24-hour, like it was like one working day with him. So someone followed him around with a camera. This vlogger followed him around with a camera and just like wanted to see like what his life is like.
Yeah.
So they went to his office, and bro, this guy is so busy. He's got so many businesses, so many properties and stuff, and he sits in his office and like one after the other, people are coming in and having meetings with him. So all of his managers for 10 minutes to sit with him, and then he like makes decisions, and then like he sits with everyone all day. Then he has so many meetings, bro, that he was having a meeting on the way to his other meeting in the lift. Like, so his office is so big that he like has other people working there stuff. So he was going to a meeting, and then in the lift he was having another meeting. And there's a couple of things that I was inspired by watching this. One was that his meetings are quite short. He gets to the point with them. Another one is that he wastes no time. A third one is that he's really, really anti-procrastination. Really anti-procrastination, bro. He replied, bro, imagine how busy he is. Imagine how many people WhatsApping him, emailing him, calling him. He says, I reply to every single WhatsApp straight away by voice note. I tell everyone, all my managers, they need to follow me, WhatsApp me. I reply to every single email straight away. And he said that's the reason why, for example, I have like a lot of nice cars, but I always have a driver so I can get back, so I can do my emails and stuff. And he said that another reason is that so he replies to all of his emails. What was like something really inspiring by him? He was having one meeting, yeah, while he was getting changed. Oh yeah, he always works out every single day, no matter what. He has a gym in his office, so he takes 30 minutes out every single day to work out. And he was having a meeting while he was changing for his workout. That's how busy this brother is, yeah. Now, the other thing that was mad inspiring was, this is it. He said that he always gets back to people, so he's really anti-procrastination, and he always makes decisions. He said the key to success is to keep everything moving, so to make decisions, don't procrastinate your decisions. Yeah. So if someone comes to him with something, he makes a decision there and then. So if someone, let's say, I don't know if he has a restaurant owner, but let's say if he has a restaurant owner, he comes to him and he says, look, we're having a problem where, this is an example, by the way, this isn't an example he gave, but let's say his manager comes to him and says, look, we have this problem where there's too much queues outside our restaurant. We're having trouble managing the queues. He would literally there and then be like, all right, cool. He wouldn't be like, let me have a think about it, or come back to me with some options, give me some options and let me know, and then I'll pick the best option. He literally will turn around and be like, all right, cool. What we'll do is we'll set up this new system where people can book online, and then they get a notification 5 minutes before their table's ready so they can start making their way back to the restaurant. Boom, done. And that's how, so he basically keeps making decisions. Every meeting is making decisions so that his business is constantly rolling. He said that the most important thing about business is that it keeps rolling, it keeps going, it keeps moving. And secondly, he said that he gives his managers enough responsibility. He tells them, don't give me the like nitty gritty tasks. Like get things done yourself. If there's big decisions to be made that you feel like you need before, I'll make those decisions. But if there's little things here and there, just make the decision. I trust you to make the decision. So, but I found that so inspiring.
That's amazing.
But it makes sense in like if you're going to be leader, bro, like you have to A, trust your people, and B, you just have to make decisions.
I think it's a combination of obviously trusting people that you hire, and make sure that they get their jobs done. But he seems like the type of person that kind of sees the bigger picture before it happens. Yeah. So he's the type of person that and these are the reasons. A lot of big entrepreneurs, the reason why they're so successful and the reason why their businesses roll so far is because they anticipate everything before it even happens. They try and picture any scenario in their head and try and deal with it in their head before it even happens. And that's why when the problem's actually on their plate, they can make the decision just like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing.
So I was watching this documentary and then I got inspired. I was like, do you know what? I'm never like we constantly get emails to Freshly Grounded, for example. We get emails. I get emails to my inquiries email all the time, and sometimes it's just emails where someone is just like telling me about something, and I don't reply. Not because I'm trying to be rude, bro, but imagine someone sends you like a long email, and as much as I value everybody's time, and I think it's so beautiful for people to message in. If I was to sit there and reply to every single person, I would never get anywhere. I would not be able to carry on doing the things that I do that allow me to get that kind of response in the first place. And that sounds like such an arrogant thing to say, and I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I just mean it that, like, I do reply to emails, but if it's something that's like, I don't know, like, if we get an email that doesn't necessarily require an action, I'll read the email, I'll acknowledge it, I'll love it, but I maybe won't get a chance to respond. And I don't think that's correct. Like, that's definitely an issue. So what I decided to do is I put out my Instagram. I said, guys, for the next 24 hours, I know I haven't been replying like on emails and stuff, like hard, but for the next 24 hours, anything I get sent on my emails, I'm gonna read it and like analyze it and properly reply, like a custom reply to each email, or custom reply to the email, and really give you my help and advice. If not help and advice, because I'm not some kind of agony aunt, but respond to the email. Yeah. Bro, I had no idea. I got so many emails, bro. Yeah, I put this challenge out last Thursday. Yeah. Today's a week later, and I still haven't responded to all the emails.
Wow.
I've got about 40 something left, bro. I had so many emails, and each of them are like not essays, but like really long. Most of them, and I'm not even saying this in a braggy way, in any way, shape, or form, but I'm literally just telling facts. Like, I had so many emails, yeah, and bro, it was I'm so happy I did this, because it made me, for the first time, try and understand and try and understand the mentality of the people who follow me, and where their heads are, what they're thinking, why they view me, what they think of me, and where they're at in their lives. So like the majority of my audience, are they studying? Are they kids? Are they adults? Because bro, even when you see your Instagram stats and YouTube stats, and it says everybody is at 18 to 25, you don't know how true that is, because everyone puts their age as 18 on YouTube so that you can see all the content. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know if they really are 18 and stuff. Bro, it was insane, yeah? So everyone sending me emails. It was way more emails than I ever expected that I would get. And I was so shocked at the type of emails, bro. People were sending me their like life stories and asking me for like help or advice. And I was thinking like, bro, I don't know what kind of perception I put out there in my YouTube videos and stuff, but people must think that like I've got life sussed out. And bro, I do not have life sussed out. Like, I'm struggling out here. Like, I've got so many issues, so many problems, so many like, I go to people like how they came to me. I go to people like that.
Of course.
And people are coming to me thinking that I can like solve these issues. And so then that made me think like, am I like putting out the wrong perception of myself online?
I don't think it's the wrong perception. One, it's beautiful that people can actually...
Oh, 100%. It's a blessing, yeah.
It's a blessing, and it's beautiful that people can, look to you for that guidance, right? Because you're fairly young. You're younger than me, even.
Yeah.
And, and it's amazing. But I don't think it's necessarily that you put out a certain perception of yourself. I think it's just that because... I don't know how to put it.
Well, I think go on.
You're there,
yeah.
So that, like you have a presence. Do you get it? So people can come to you. So like, I've lost it completely. But
I think that what it is, is that I'm filming my life for a whole day, and I'm putting it out every day, But I'm only picking up the camera and filming and editing the bits that I want to be seen, obviously, because I'm obviously not going to put out something that like where it like makes me look bad or something, unless it's something that really teaches a lesson. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be happy to put, if it's like for the sake of Allah, if I like genuinely made a mistake and I feel like I want to put it out to like explain that it's wrong, fine. But generally, you don't put out things that you ask anybody who has an Instagram profile. Are they ever going to upload an Instagram picture that they like? That they think they look ugly in? Or you're a photographer, bro, would you ever upload an Instagram picture of your photograph that is a really bad photo?
I would have before, but not now. But I get exactly what you mean. But that's what I mean by presence.
How many bad photos do you take?
I take a lot.
Right, but no one will see that. Like
Yeah.
when you're putting out your, I'm not saying that you're a bad photographer. You're an amazing photographer.
Thank
I love about it. But what I mean is that, like, in order to be an amazing photographer, you must, when you go out on a shoot, take some really bad pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, but like obviously just not use them and use the good ones because you're trying out new things, right? But you never put those pictures out. So likewise with my life, I'm constantly making mistakes because I constantly have problems. Nobody knows about my personal life. Do you know what I mean? So because I don't put my personal life out there per se. Sure. But I find that so interesting, man. I find it interesting, the perception. And I was probably the guy who would watch other people and have that mentality where like, oh, this is who I want to be, or this is so relatable. And now to be on the other side of it, to understand that, I understand now that that's not what it's like, yeah? And secondly, I realized that the people who quote unquote love me and like my videos and stuff, and it's just been being raw and real, yeah, because I find that the audience on Freshly Ground is different to my audience on my vlogs, and I know that they cross over. I know there's some people watching this that watch my vlogs, but generally I think the Freshly Ground has a much older audience, much an audience who might not watch vlogs and that kind of stuff, right? And even if like I said, even if the people who do watch my vlogs are listening to this, it's not something that I'm ashamed about. But well, anyway, my point is this. If the people who watch my vlogs and love what I do were to actually meet me, but not just meet me, but spend a lot of time with me, I would be embarrassed as to who I am, in the sense that they would realize that I'm not the person that they think I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm actually, and I think this goes for everybody, bro. If you were to meet anyone who you see on social media and you think they're an amazing person, but you were to spend like a week with that person all day, every day, bro, you'd see all of their bad traits and you'd lose respect for them, and you would lose like that feeling of like, oh, that person's special. You'd lose that. And I think that's important to remember. So when people are watching my vlogs, I would love for them to remember in their head that he's probably a bad person. Now that sounds stupid for me to say, but the reason it's important is because so people have a realistic perception of me. Do you know what I mean? I get that. I can see from the other end how I might come across on YouTube, and I love that because that is me. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say that's fake, but that's me when I'm the happiest. That's me when I'm the most confident. That's me when I'm the most comfortable. And so when I'm happy, confident and comfortable, I'll turn the camera on. So that's me when I'm like, I'm in a good mood and like all that kind of stuff. But when I'm not in those moods, I won't put the camera on, obviously.
But I just want to confirm that you are a beautiful human.
I do appreciate that.
I really do want to confirm that. But I get exactly what you mean, bro. And it is a circle. Like, everyone's always looking to other people. Like, you look to other people and other people look to you. It's always been like that.
It's almost like money, like when you never have enough.
Yeah.
And so like it's like a chain in that, like you might look up someone, but someone else look up someone, someone else look up someone. And the other maddest thing is this, that I know that what your response would be that, you know, we're all sinners and stuff, but the thing I find mad is, and I was speaking to Noor about this yesterday, the brother who runs the account Strong Believers. I was on the phone to him and I said to him, bro, it's mad because I'm such a sinner. Like, I'm a proper sinner, but like, I don't deserve, Allah is so merciful in it, but if people knew my sins, no one would want to look at me. And his response was, bro, like, we all are. And that's everyone's response, because it's true, we all are sinners, sons of Adam are sinners. But I suppose it just goes to show Allah's mercy, that the fact that Allah is so merciful and still gives us things when we're such sinners that we don't deserve it, it's such a beautiful thing, man. Speaking of amazing and beautiful things, Sam, let's go into the reason why he's not here. So he's in Dublin right now. As you guys probably know, Menspire is huge. Like, Menspire is a big international brand. Josh, who is Sam's partner, travels literally like, sometimes he's in like 7 different countries in 1 month. Like,
it's crazy,
bro. He's always traveling, always. Like, he'll be in Brazil one day, Australia the next day, bro. Like, Brazil, like, it's mad, yeah. So Menspire is such an international brand that Josh travels with Menspire. So Josh like travels and teaches people how to like cut hair like Menspire. Because what they do is they cut hair a bit differently. So, you know, the regular, I hope if Sam's listening, Sam, I hope I do you justice here. Basically, the way barbers are known to cut hair is with a machine, yeah? And all barbers are like sick with machines and like fading, cutting hair, yeah? Now, Sam and Josh have been brought up in hairdressing, yeah? And a lot of people in their men's bar have been brought up hairdressing, which is new to me, two different things, yeah? Hairdressing is more like scientific, mathematical. You're learning the person's head shape and you're learning the person's hair, and you're cutting. If, like, for example, you have more hair on the top than like at the back, did they like?
Yeah, this is it.
I can't really do justice
mine's a perfect example. So when Sam actually offered to give me a trim, yeah, a trim is like an oversimplification of what he actually means, because he like fully told me like, yeah, your head shape is this, and your barber's like basically left more on the back.
He's a genius. He's a genius, like you're saying. He looks at people's hair, like,
and he just imagines the scalp.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, and he was spot on. Like I didn't have to say anything to him. He's like, yeah, you've always had this problem, haven't you? And I was like, yeah, I've always had too much hair at the back, because that's how my head shape is,
bro. And that's what the stuff that barbers generally don't know, because they just like fade you out and make you look good, yeah. And no disrespect to barbers, because I'm not doing justice anyway. But with Sam, when he looks at, I'm often with Sam, he'll look at a random person and he'll go, "Poof, I'd love to have that person on my chair." And he's not even saying it from like a financial standpoint where I'd like to have that person's money, but he's like, the things I could do to that person's head, like, so what they do is they will like see like how your hair flows and that kind of stuff, and like, there's a science to it, right?
Yeah.
That's hairdressing, and then that's barbering. So what Men Spy have done, and they've revolutionized the barbering industry in the sense that they've brought hairdressing and barbering into one. And so they're barbers now. So it's a barber shop, really.
Yeah.
It's but they don't call it barber shop. They call it a salon, because they've mixed like the scientific and mathematical like way of cutting hair into barbering.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because that's so amazing, and that's a revolution. That's like a revolution.
Okay.
Josh goes around the world and he's in high demand, teaching people like the Men Spy way of cutting hair. And he's got so big that he'll go to a country ball and there's crowds of people screaming like Men Spy. So my point is, Men Spy is a huge brand. However, even though they've had like pop-up shops, I believe, and stuff like that here, like all around the world and stuff, they don't have like their only base was in St Albans, until I believe yesterday they launched their first ever store outside of the ones that they already have. So they launched their first ever Dublin store. In Dublin, Ireland. So Glenn, who was a guy who used to work, Glenn is an Irish guy who used to work for Sam in St Albans, went back to Ireland, and basically he now manages, and he started up the Men Spy Dublin store. They did the launch yesterday. It looked amazing. It looked so cool, and I'm so proud of Sam, man. He's 5 years older than me, I think, and he's like an older brother to me. He inspires me so much, and just seeing like what he's doing out there, it makes you realize that, you know, if you put your mind to it and you work hard, by the will of Allah, a lot is possible. And on top of that, he's managing like an amazing cafe 59, and you know they've got massive plans as well. It's just so beautiful, like what's happening, and so yeah, that's where Sam is now. If you didn't see my vlog the other day, what basically happened is, so I'm in London now, yeah. This was the day before the Men Spy launch. Sam's in Dublin, and me and Sam have had talks before about like how we wanted to do Festival Garden in Dublin one day and all this kind of stuff, and about how we love, like, we've only ever had like amazing interactions with Irish people, and we love Irish people. And bro, in Ireland, we've spoken about this before in the podcast, but in Irish culture, bro, like it's so family orientated. It's a lot like the Asian culture. Yeah, like they're very strong in their family links. Yeah, and it's so beautiful to see, man. So we got a nice fan base in Ireland and stuff as well, and so we wanted to kind of make something happen in Ireland. So now Sam's in Ireland. And so this was on Tuesday, and so as of Tuesday, the launch was tomorrow, etc., etc. I was watching Sam's Instagram story, I was watching Glenn's Instagram story, I was watching Men Spy Instagram story, watching Josh's story, Mahi's, and I was thinking, do you know what? This looks so beautiful. I really want to be there and support my boy on his launch of his new store. And so I rang Hanan. Hanan also knows Sam, and Hanan's a manager, so he like is good with this kind of stuff. I rang him and I was like, bro, do you want to do a madness and go to Ireland and surprise Sam on the launch of his store tomorrow? But we'd have to leave tonight. Yeah. And he was like laughing, and he was kind of on it, and I was kind of on it, and I was like, well. So I started looking at flights, and there was only one flight remaining. Yeah. And from the airport that we wanted to go from. and it left in 2 hours.
Oh.
And I was like,
Wow.
Hanan, it leaves in 2 hours. Jack, we can make it. He's like, oh, let me have a think. Blah blah. He had a big meeting the next day, and I had an appointment the next day as well. So while he put me on hold, I saw that there was actually a flight that left 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. So Wednesday, so Sam's shop launch was at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And the flight would have left at 6:30 a.m. and got there like 8 o'clock in the morning. So we would have got to Dublin in time for the launch.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, let's do this. This is so much better. We don't have to rush in 2 hours. We can pack, we can sleep, we can leave home at about 4:30 in the morning, get to the airport for about 5:30, and then just like get on the flight. Everything's calm. Come back the same day in the evening. Bro, the tickets were £66. How cheap is that? Return.
What?
Yeah, return.
You got to send me this website.
Bro, so it was Skyscanner.
Was it Skyscanner?
Yeah.
I really do want to go. I want to go past of Scotland as well, man.
I went to Scotland. It's cool.
I want to go further up. Like, there's
I had a bad
Scotland and then there's
experience in
Scotland, like,
yeah.
which is further up. And
I
there's
think I
like
went
some...
Edinburgh, Glasgow. I can't remember where I went.
Glasgow. My cousin lives in Glasgow. But I want to go Isle of Skye.
Yeah.
The places like that are beautiful.
I'm not into that like touristy stuff.
So and it's not touristy. It's all like nature and like,
touristy,
mountains
yeah.
and stuff. Oh, okay.
Alright, so basically, yeah. So now we're in.
So you're thinking about it?
Yeah, so we're thinking about it, and it would have been so good.
Yeah.
Like we would have turned up, surprise Sam. Sam would have been like really like amazing. It would have made such good vlog content, everything. And then last minute, we ended up not doing it, and the reason being is because because Hanan had this meeting, and B, because I had this appointment at 4 o'clock the next day, so I would have had to cancel my appointment. Now, my appointment yesterday was for hijama, for cupping.
Oh.
And the brother who did it basically like DM'd me on Instagram and offered it for free. And we arranged to do it for yesterday, 4 o'clock. And so I accepted his like invitation, and I had like promised him I'd be there. And on top of that, had I not gone, he was doing it for free, so had I not gone, he could have made money in that slot.
Sure.
And so I felt bad, like I'm cancelling you last minute, so you probably can't get a client in, so you're losing money now. I'm just cancelling on you. And then what came to my head is that I saw like I was reading something where a student of knowledge asked the sheikh. They said, Sheikh, if I'm doing a sunnah fast, like fasting like a Monday or Thursday or something, and my friend invites me over for lunch or dinner while I'm fasting, do I accept the invitation and break my fast, or do I carry on the fast? And to my surprise, the sheikh said, you accept the invitation and you break the fast. And the reason being is because accepting an invitation is obligatory, and the sunnah fast is a sunnah. Even though we shouldn't belittle the sunnah, but it's not obligatory.
Okay. And
so the obligatory actions always override the non-obligatory actions, essentially. And so then that made me start thinking, like, as much as I would love and somewhat prefer to go to Dublin, surprise Sam, and great vlog content, that was more like my desires, and it would be a good deed in the sense I'll be making my friend happy in that. However, I've already accepted the invitation. I've made a promise. You can't break a promise. And so I decided to go to the
cost,
thing instead. But the men's bar launch looked really busy. It looked really cool, man. The shop was really busy. So
you'd be a very good economist.
Why?
Because you look at you're really good at arranging your priorities and understanding value.
No, but do you know what? I'm bad at it, and I made enough mistakes at it to know that like I shouldn't make those mistakes again. And it was more so the fact that it's not. I'm really bad at making decisions, but it's not bit. So my name, what I don't even start with this. So when I do my talks, we're going off on so many tangents here, but it's good. When I do my talks in like universities and stuff and charities, the first thing I say is one of the first things I say is, my name is Faisal. Is anybody else here called Faisal? And then a lot of the time somebody else is called Faisal in the crowd because it's Muslims. And I'll say like, do you know what our name means? And then like, yeah. And one of the meanings of our names, or one of the interpretations of the meaning, is decisive.
Mm-hmm.
But I always make a joke that I'm like the most indecisive person I know. My family like call me the most indecisive person. But bro, coming to being guided to Islam, alhamdulillah, was such a beautiful thing because it fixed somewhat the weakest trait of my personality, which was my indecisiveness. And my indecisiveness, bro, like it would affect people, bro. Like like it would be from anything, like from little embarrassing things, like being in a restaurant and saying, "Hey, how can I get quarter chicken and chips?" and then them putting it through the till and be like, "Actually, no, can I please get a chicken burger and rice?" And then like, who orders chicken burger and rice? Anyway, and then like putting the chicken burger and rice through, and then be like, "Actually, no, I want strips and chips." And like, bro, that's what I'll genuinely be like. Yeah, and it used to be a big problem, and I would make people know. So that's a little example. Then it would also be big examples of like, you know, I don't know, making big decisions in life. I would be very indecisive about, and it would really affect me. And then, alhamdulillah, coming to the deen, being guided to the correct way of Islam, helped me a lot, because now my thought process is. Like a perfect example is yesterday's decision. Should I cancel the hijama or should I go to Dublin? Bro, I would still be thinking about what the answer is, what the correct thing is to do, or what I want to do. And I guarantee whatever I would have done, I would have regretted it. If I went to Dublin, I would have regretted cancelling this brother. If I went to this hijama, I would have regretted not going to Dublin and surprising Sam. So that's the problem I had, bro. It's big problem. But now, being guided, being like, now that like my, alhamdulillah, I try and think more Islamically. Yeah. Now my thought process is this: what is the correct thing to do Islamically? Mm-hmm. And bro, alhamdulillah, that makes my decision so much easier, because now I just have to think like that, and then I'm content with my answer. So because I knew Islamically is correct to keep my promise, I don't regret in any way, shape, or form not going to Dublin, because I know it's what Allah would have wanted. Do you know what I mean? And bro, that's why Islam is so beautiful, bro, because it fixes traits of your personality that are bad. It's
designed to make your life easier.
Yeah,
so I don't.
That's true.
I'm not surprised by you saying that. Alhamdulillah, you know, and you seem like you've got everything a bit more under the wraps as well. Like I see that 100%.
Well, I don't wish you knew me, but if you knew me when I was Jahil, bro, like, your life's a mess, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's people listening to this now and thinking where my relationship with Allah is not that strong, I promise you, these traits in your personality that you dislike, or if you have friends that you don't think are good role model, that are good like peers to be around, or if genuinely you just think that like your life's a bit of a mess, Islam fixes all of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, being guided, I keep saying being guided like I'm revert, but because I was so like jahil to. Like Allah guides who He will. So to have been guided was so beautiful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the minute you start practicing you become rich or something. It doesn't solve your problems in that sense. Although it does, you do have mubarakah in your life. But what it does is it puts, like I said, it puts blessings in your life. So even though you might not become a millionaire by becoming a practicing Muslim, the money that you do have has blessings in it. If you obviously earn it in a halal way, your life has blessings in it. You become more patient, and then that gives you happiness, because like you don't deal with things erratically, you don't make bad decisions. You make decisions based off what's better for you. And bro, it's like there's a saying, I don't know what it is, but it's something like, bro, do you know what the saying is? Where it's like, you can. I'm gonna explain it to you, but like you can do this and get the result, or you can teach someone how to do this and then like they can do it like forever or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know.
How annoying is that? There's gonna be people listening right now screaming at their like
this is
headphones. Yeah, this is the same.
I can't.
But it's something like, you know, you can. I'm gonna give really bad one here because I make that one spot. But it's like you can either, I don't know, like, this is so bad, bro. I'm gonna use the worst whatever. I'm literally making up, but like you could like give someone a house. No, that's a bad example.
No, give someone the house.
Or teach someone how to build a house. Yeah. And so then what they could do is they can build loads of houses. Yeah. Instead of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Look, I don't know if you guys know the saying. Please like comment it in the YouTube or like DM it to us. But my point is this, what Islam does is it might not only does it give you happiness, but what it does is it teaches. It fixes the problem. It doesn't just like put a plaster over your problem. It fixes the roots. So like,
It's like breaking a bone and then it reforming to be stronger.
Right. So like, for example, let's say if I have a problem right now, like I have a car fine, I can't afford to pay it. Yeah. You give me 50 quid, we'll fix the problem, and make me happy for 15 minutes, because now my car fine's fixed, alhamdulillah, I'm happy, But what about my next problem, Whereas what Islam does is it changes your personality, so it makes you like a more patient person, it makes you content. So what happens when you're content is that now you're happy with whatever life throws at you, you handle things properly, because you're patient, you don't make erratic decisions,
bro.
So it doesn't just put plaster over your problems, it fixes it's a solution to the core of the problem.
Alhamdulillah, like man, even I like
done really bad job explaining that.
I'm gonna be 25 soon,
inshallah,
if I like wills that I stay alive, inshallah. But
may Allah grant you a long pious life. I said may Allah grant you a long pious life.
Thank you, bro. But I've, even with my relationship with my brother, my relationship with the people around me, the close ones, like in the last couple of years, I'm a much more calm and collected person because of Islam, because of what it teaches, how it teaches you to kind of be compassionate towards everything and anything, regardless of how dire the situation might be. If you treat it with respect and with calmness, like it changes so many things. That is like the center point. Because it is a religion of peace. Yes, it is. And because that's the center point, it kind of affects every other thing in your life.
But what you said earlier was so perfect. You said that you're not surprised because that Islam made my decisions easier, because the religion is meant to make your life easier. And that's mad, because a lot of people think that it makes your life harder. Nah. Because bro, people think that I can't listen to music, I can't chat to girls, I can't do this, can't do that. Bro, I was that guy. I was that guy. Like, I promise. Like, I know now people must look at me and be like, oh, like, he's got a beard and like he's just like, he's so boring or whatever. But I'm telling you, like, I'm happier in my life. And I promise you, my financial situation hasn't changed that much. My life hasn't changed so much to the point where like, but I'm happier now than I was when I was practicing. When I was not practicing, sorry. Even though then I would have no guilt, astaghfirullah, about enjoying any of life's pleasures that were not permissible for me. So I would be that guy who would, for example, roll into a family wedding, and you know when you go to a family wedding, so like extended family, so there's different types of people there, and so there's always a group of like religious people there, innit? Like sat at the back with their big beards and that. I would be that guy that would look and be like, oh man, that's long. Like, do you know what I mean? And now I'm that guy. Like, but I promise, like, I was in the shoes of the people who might be listening to this right now, thinking like, who are probably that guy who rolls to a wedding and is like, says that does think that those things that thinks like, oh, like, because you know what it is, bro. That feeling, this long is not like against Islam, but it's because you think that the people are so strict and so boring and astaghfirullah, that you think, I don't want to deal with these people, but deep down in your heart of hearts, you know that what they are on is correct, but you almost feel like insecure about it, so you don't want to hear it, So an example is, bro, like, let's say, for example, if you know that listening to music, regardless of what your opinion on music is, in it, even if you believe that music is permissible, there's no way that anyone could argue that the music like nowadays is permissible for your ears. Like, sure. I'm talking about what I was saying earlier, like when Nicki Minaj is rapping about like anaconda and that, bruv, like bare sexual connotations, bruv, when you're listening to rappers like, I don't even know anymore because I'm not even like, I follow the trends, but like my man, what's his name?
Flowrider.
Flowrider's not, is that?
Yeah, he's full of innuendos, bro.
Well, no, but I'm saying like people who are like big right now, like,
okay.
Bruv, my man,
B.O.B.
Bro, I swear your name in some of the oldest man them.
Kendrick Lamar.
Bro, you know, but all of these people are like, you know, I'm trying to think of one specific guy, Travis Scott.
Oh, Travis Scott.
Yeah. Bro, I've never even heard a Travis Scott song. Well, if I have, I don't even know if it's him. Like, it would have been like in the background somewhere. But I assume that his lyrics are gonna be like sexual content. Bro, it's so sad, So my point is that you couldn't argue nobody, I believe no one can argue, yeah? Even if someone has a leg to stand on and try and convince man that music is permissible, there's no way anyone can convince me that the music of nowadays, that music is permissible. Like, so let's say now I'm having a conversation with a brother, yeah? He knows deep down in his heart of hearts that music is not permissible, yeah?
Right.
So it's an insecurity. The reason like you become, and I'm speaking from, I'm not speaking from assumptions, I'm speaking from experience, innit? Like, this is me. So here's what I would be like, yeah? Because I know deep down that music is not really right for me to listen to. If I become defensive because I'm insecure about it, because I know it's not right to listen to, but I like listening to it.
Right.
So the feeling of being like, oh, that's long, or oh, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to speak to this guy, or I don't want to like hang around religious people. That like emotion of being like, oh, like allow it, that I believe stems from insecurity.
Right.
Because you're insecure because you know it's not correct, but you enjoy it, so it's like you become defensive and angry at anyone who has that approach, or anyone who has mastered it. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're not listening to music no more, you've mastered the art of avoiding. Because bro, no one can say that music is not a fitna. Do you know what I mean? Like, of course, like you can even like the most like religious people. If music, if like, I'm sure they're not saying that they hate. I mean, I'm sure they do hate music now, but like they hate it for the sake of Allah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure people would love to listen to tunes because it puts that feeling for your body in that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if someone that masters the art of avoiding that, that's commendable.
Yeah.
But then it causes insecurity. That's my opinion.
Okay.
But we've gone off on so many tangents, yeah. I suppose that's what podcasting is. That I can't remember what our original conversation was. My point is, bro, yeah. What was my point? What were we talking about, bro?
We were talking about music, and then before that we were talking about how Islam gives a way of life, and you know, certain people might become defensive in seeing.
Yeah. So my point was that. Oh yeah, my point was about how Islam makes you happy, innit? Yeah. So my point is, even though things are hard, yeah, no one can deny, and anyone listening to this right now, no one can deny that they know that Islam really is a secret to happiness. Because what you're doing, and I know we have non-Muslim audience, so I'm trying not, because this is sounding very, very like Islamic, and it is this segment, but I'm conscious of the non-Muslim listeners who are probably thinking to just turn this off because I'm just like blabbing on about religion. But so we as Muslims believe, yeah, we like sincerely believe, yeah, that there's only one God, yeah, there's only one deity worthy of worship, yeah. Now, if there's people listening, like people who I know in my family, that who are certain upon the fact that Islam is the correct way, but they just have difficulties practicing the religion, there'll be a lot of people listening like that. And I am that person. Like, I'm the first person to say that I struggle with the practicing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not no perfect person, but I'm saying if people are listening here and they know, and we know, yeah, I was having this conversation with my wife the other day. I was saying it makes like, if we know that Allah is one, yeah, Allah, or like our Lord, He created everything and everyone, yeah. And we know that we're going back to Him. So it logically makes sense that if that's what our life is, if Allah created everything, then it logically makes sense that we should live our whole life trying to please Him, because we're going back to Him anyway. Do you know what I mean? And also, a lot of people have this like thing where they say that you have to balance deen and dunya, you have to balance deen and dunya, balance deen and dunya. Bro, my opinion is that you should go 100% into deen, and the reason is because this, yeah, that sounds very, very like mad, yeah, but let me explain it. The deen or religion, it comes balanced. So if you go all in on religion, you actually live a very balanced life. Because when I say you should go 100% into religion, you probably, the idea that comes to your head is that you just sit at home all day praying, all day reading Quran. I don't mean that, bro, because that's not what religion teaches. Religion, so if you actually go all in religion, what you'll find is that what you get back is a very balanced life and a very happy life. Because what religion teaches you is you have to be good to your neighbors. You have to be good to your parents. You have to see your parents. You have to see your family. You have to keep ties with your family. You have to be good to your friends, your companions. You have to make friends. You have to make companions. You have to work so you can provide for your family. You have to and provide what your family like deserve. Like, not just like, you can't just say to your family like, oh, you know, I remember listening to one talk actually,
Yeah.
where the Sheikh was talking about how there's this really popular hadith where the Prophet where Aisha radiallahu anha talks about how for 3 months, all that the Prophet's houses, all that they ate, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was dates and water. Yeah, and it's a very, very popular hadith. And so, but the Sheikh said that this doesn't mean now that brothers can feed their wives just date and water for 3 months, and they say, "Oh, alhamdulillah, like I'm completing my right upon you." Nah, that's not time. That was their times, bro. Like in our times, we have the ability to work, we have the ability to provide the food that they expect and that kind of stuff. So my point is, yeah, if you want to balance deen and dunya, go all in on deen, and you'll find that deen balances your whole life. And the deen will teach you go out to work. The deen will teach you, don't spend all your time praying, reading Quran, because you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to provide for your wife, you got to give your wife attention, you got to give your family, your kids attention, your parents, you got to go out and study, all this kind of stuff. So that's what Islam teaches.
It's like
what a beautiful religion, bro. Like it really is a way of life, because it really teaches you how to have the most pure, balanced life, bro.
It's a positive paradox, isn't it? Like you think you're going into something that's a bit militant, but really it's the complete opposite.
Bro, and that's why you find, that the most religious people are the people that are most easygoing and relaxed.
Yeah.
And also, that's why you find that these extremists, bro, like, they've got it all wrong, bro. Like, that's not what Islam teaches. But it's not what Islam teaches. Do you know what I mean? Like it's mad.
I think that's the thing that gets me the most as well when these things happen, and Muslims are called terrorists. It's just the fact that it's so contradictory to what our religion preaches, and
of course, bro. Of course, like
and it puts such a this stigma on our religion, and that's the most difficult to accept,
bro. Like for example, this is the maddest thing, Do you know the guy who done? There was some like terrorist thing that happened in France, in Paris, and then it turned out the guy who did it, it was claimed by these extremists and stuff, and what happened is it turned out that the guy who done owned a bar or something.
Mm-hmm.
Bruv, everyone knows that alcohol is haram in Islam, it's not permissible. So if my man was so religious that he wants to quote unquote kill for his religion, but he's so unreligious that he has a bar, it makes no sense, bro. It proves that these guys are not clearly not religious. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go into it, man. It's just such a long story. But anyway, to move on to a lighter topic, bro. Talking about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like I said yesterday, I had hijama, which is cupping. So it's cupping therapy, and I have so much to talk about this cupping therapy, man. I could go on for so long.
I was actually going to ask you myself, because I really want to get it done, but I want to know, from what it's like from someone that's had it first.
Well, bro, you're in luck, because we're on podcast. We've got all the time in the world, and I'm about to talk about it. Alright, so I've had cupping done 3 times before, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alright, where do I start, man? Alright,
wait,
fine.
just out of curiosity, I don't know whether you're allowed to disclose it, but who was the brother that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in on it. Well, who did my cupping?
Yeah.
I'll go in on it. Alright, so I'll tell you about everything. Right, okay. So, top to bottom. So I get DM from this company called Sunnah Remedies. Okay. Yeah, and he's the brother. His name is Abdul Hakim, and he's the brother who offered me. He's like, look, I'll do your hijama, blah, blah, blah. I was like, alhamdulillah, that sounds sick. And then he was like, bring your brother as well. So I was like, perfect, Omar will like that. Give me 2 seconds, because Omar's actually texted me now, and it's so rude to text back on podcast, but it's my brother. He's asking about the office after. Yeah, bro, me and Red shooting FG. Is anybody else in?
I can't see anyone.
No, they're not. Alright, so he messaged and basically said that, he said, bring your brother along. I said, alright, fine. Now, we get there, and I don't know much about this brother.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, when it comes to Islam, you can't be shy in making sure that people are following Islam correctly, innit? Yeah. And so I had one reservation, and it was so beautiful that his brothers offered me hijama, but the only reservation I had is that he was upon haq. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't gonna there's people do a lot of things that are a bit booky, basically. Yeah, I don't know this guy. He's a brother who's offered me hijama, and so I assumed the best. But as soon as I got there, I wanted to ask one question. So I got there, alhamdulillah, he seemed like a nice brother. Walked into the room, I said to him, bro, listen, I have a question, and I'm aware that it might come across patronizing, but I hope that as a brother, you understand why I have to ask this and you won't get offended. And I hope you will appreciate that. And so I said to him, bro, like, the way you do your hijama, is it according to the sunnah? That's all I said. Because there's a lot of people upon bid'ah, and I don't want no one to be like doing something on me where they're doing stuff that's not according to the sunnah and not according to the Quran, or like reciting stuff that I don't know, like not reciting Quran. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy I asked, alhamdulillah. And this is a lesson to everybody out there. If you have these kind of reservations, for sure, like, don't be shy, because at the end of the day, if somebody is putting their hands on you, or if somebody is doing something according, like, that is a religious matter, try your best to make sure that whatever they're doing is according to the sunnah, according to Quran and sunnah, because at the end of the day, like, you're going to be accountable for things on Yawm al-Qiyamah, and you want to make sure that like it's done correctly, essentially. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, I'm very happy he asked, because he basically said, he basically said, alhamdulillah, I'm professional, I got a certificate, blah, blah, which I was happy with, alhamdulillah, yeah. But I still wanted to know about the Islamic side. Like, are you doing it according to Sunnah? Not that I have a lot of knowledge on, or I could be a judge of what's according to Sunnah, but the little things I do know, I just wanted to ensure that it was done according to Sunnah. That's it, yeah. So essentially, he goes, what experiences have you had with hijama before? I told him the brothers who have done hijama on me before, and I know that they're upon the Sunnah because, it's fine, I know that they're upon the Sunnah because they were introduced to me by brothers that I trust, etc., 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 right? Now, I asked him, is it according to Sunnah? And he said, what experience have you had with hijama before? And I told him who done my hijama before, and he said that the brother who done my first ever hijama is the same brother who trained Abdul Hakim, this guy. So I was like, oh, alhamdulillah, now I trust it, because I know that the brother who done my first hijama was upon haqq, yeah? So that put my mind to rest. Then, this brother goes, I used to teach at Al-Muntada. And I know the brothers who at Al-Muntada, and I know that they like, I trust them in it. So then that put me at Moyes. And then my brother-in-law actually taught at Al-Muntada as well. So I said to him, do you know my brother-in-law? And I said his name. And he goes, bro, me and your brother-in-law are like this. I was like, no way. So that affirmed it for me, basically. So I understood like that, what he's upon and all that kind of stuff. And like I knew the people, I knew the guy who taught him how to do hijama, and I saw his certificate, and I knew the people that he worked with before and stuff. So I was happy. So then I was like, fine. I went with Omar. And if you guys, do you know what Omar's like with blood? You doing it?
Yeah,
he's not very good.
No, he's not good at all.
He's not good with blood.
I've seen you guys. Well, I know Omar's not good with dogs.
Yeah.
And blood's the other thing.
Oh, we can talk about Obi as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so Omar's not very good with blood. I'll give you an example. So with blood tears, all that kind of stuff, he's not very good with it. And one time, my granddad, may Allah grant him Jannah, was in a hospital one time. This was years ago, when he was still alive, and he was having something done on him. I don't know if it was a blood test or I don't know what was happening to him. But Omar was like, took my granddad to the hospital. They're doing something with my granddad. Next thing you know, Omar wakes up, he's in the hospital bed next to my granddad. He fainted.
Wow.
But Omar's bad with that kind of stuff, yeah. So I was very conscious, because Omar's never had hijama done before, and I know it looks very graphic.
Yeah.
And so I said to Omar, bro, you go first, because if you watch it being done on me, you're not going to want to go. Or you're going to faint, yeah? So we got there, and I said, so the guy explained it to us very beautifully, and then he asked Omar to go, and then I said Omar's going to go first. He done it on Omar. Omar was like, bro, alhamdulillah, that felt good, it was fine, like, it felt beautiful. And so I'm happy that Omar got it done, and then I got it done after Omar. I also had an injury on my shoulder, so I got it done on my shoulder as well, and alhamdulillah, it feels a lot better.
So does he use actual cups, or does he use the horn?
The horn?
Yeah, because like in like classical hijama, they use this like really dark coloured like horn. It's like a cup. It's basically a cup, but it's in the shape of like a horn.
Okay, no, he used suction cups.
Okay.
So the way he did it is, you put suction cups on like different parts of the body, on the back and stuff like that, or anywhere you got injuries. And then he was explaining to us, I won't do it justice, but he was explaining to us like why he puts it where he puts it. And then like you basically suck up the blood there so that you create like a fake inflammation or bruise or whatever with the suction cup, so that all to the body tells the blood to go there, and then the blood all goes there basically. And that's why you don't want to eat. That's why he said don't eat 3 hours before, because if you have a full stomach, then all your blood goes to your stomach to help like consume your food. So he said have empty stomach so your blood spread around your body properly. Then he caused all the blood to go to those areas, and then so now it's like got a big like bruise there, not bruise but like a, did you see what
it's called I mean, he creates a whoa, that's crazy.
So it causes that. It looks bad, innit?
Wow, the camera's even on, so the camera didn't see that.
The camera didn't see. Turn the camera on. What's it? Oh man, I've got a mad headache, bro. I'm getting a migraine for talking so much. What's happened to the camera?
It's overheating.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh, it's okay.
So can you see it?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's all over my back as well.
Oh
I'll show you my back after this. But alright, and then what he does is he with a blade like cuts.
Yeah, just little.
And then puts the cup back on, carries on sucking. And what happens is all of the bad blood, that's like deoxygenated and stuff, comes out.
How does it separate like the good blood from the bad though? Is it because of the density or something?
I think like, I don't know. That's a very good question. And then what happens is that the blood looks all dark, sluggy, looks horrible. And then, so because you've lost all this blood now, what happens is new blood comes into the body, and this blood has the correct oxygen levels, and it's pure blood, it's clean blood, that's pure, that's not been like deoxygenized and stuff, and so you've got clean blood, and so your body starts feeling better. So he said you should get it done once a month. There's sunnah days to get it done and that kind of stuff. So it felt amazing. I feel good. Owen felt good. It does leave your back like really in pain and stuff, and I still haven't showered because you can't shower for 24 hours after.
Okay.
And like you can't really have dairy and red meat and stuff after and stuff like that.
I really want to get it done now.
Yeah. Bro, you should.
Whereabouts is it?
Bro, he's in Lambert Grove down the road, bro.
Mate, I would fully get that done. You know what? I really want to get it done on my broken leg.
On your broken leg?
Oh, my broken leg, yeah.
Get done there, bro.
Because, I mean, I had acupuncture done recently. I had about 5 sessions of like, just like 50 needles in my leg, which is like really uncomfortable. But it did do quite a good job. And like now I'm back into running, and I've started playing football again, which is like really important to me because that was like a massive integral part of like my life before, like just being, the fitness part of it. And now I want to take that one step further and maybe get the hijama done because I feel like there is a lot of toxic blood in there.
So what he said is this, he goes, what's really sad is that, bro, this resonated so much when he said this. So he said that it's sad because more non-Muslims are getting hijama done than Muslims nowadays. Yeah. The reason being is because there's this new fashion trend in the world where non-Muslims are becoming, or people in general are becoming more health conscious, and like people are becoming vegans. There was this documentary called What the Health that came out that like revolutionized, like loads of people became vegan or vegetarian, and like people are becoming conscious, and no one's drinking milk anymore, everyone's drinking soy milk. If you go to LA, apparently like everyone there just drinks almond milk. Even here, like in our office, all we got is almond milk. I don't drink dairy anymore. And what's happened is the world is, and the Western world is slowly becoming, not even slowly, fast becoming, it's learning about ulterior medicine, and not now resorting to like taking pills and stuff, but resorting to like fixing their body naturally. Yeah. And so he said that so many non-Muslims come and they get hijama done, they get wet cupping done. He said athletes, footballers, he was doing a Premiership footballer this week. He said he get the swimmers, but remember the Olympics, there was a big thing about it because Olympic swimmers are getting it done because they're noticing a difference in it, innit? So bruv, all of these like non-Muslims are getting it done because like there's this new like revolution where they've decided to become like, not hipsters, but like vegan, and like you go back to like classical medication. But it's so sad because a lot of Muslims are like, they trust like popping pills and stuff more than like the stuff that's sunnah and classical medication, like honey and cupping. And I was like, bro, do you know what, subhanAllah, that's true, and it's so sad. Because bro, this is stuff we're told in Quran and Sunnah that is a cure for us. And he's telling us about ahadith that we're talking about the cures, and he said that you know, he gave us different hadith. Like, for example, when the Prophet ﷺ went on his night journey where he descended to the heavens, he said ascended to the heavens. When he came back down and he was descending, every like level of heaven that he descended from, in each level, the angels said to him, ﷺ, tell your ummah to do cupping or something along the lines. So he said, hey, imagine how important that must be then. And on top of that, the Prophet ﷺ said that there was 3 types of healing here. One is the healing of honey. The other one is like the knife of the person who does a hijama, and then the other one is like a cauterization, so like fire and stuff like that. But he said that is being made impermissible. So honey and like cupping is permissible for us, and they're the 2 types of healing that we know of, but we don't do it. Which also sparked up a conversation about honey, and I asked him if he takes honey. He said, yeah, he takes it. The sunnah is to take it like 10-15 minutes before breakfast in lukewarm water, so he does that every morning. And so now I started that like as of today, and he takes it in the evening, so he takes honey twice a day. He said, you know, it's loads of difference, you lose a lot of fat with it, and it heals a lot of stuff. I'm praying inshallah it heals my asthma, because I remember that my dad always used to tell me take honey when I was having bad asthma attacks and stuff.
Are you asthmatic?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh really?
So am I.
Oh yeah, alhamdulillah. You should take the honey as well.
Okay.
So he was basically saying that, yeah, that like a lot of the non-Muslim, yo, chuck that battery back on charge. You might as well. While the one that's by the sound interface. So he was basically saying that it's sad, it's good, but it's also sad that like a lot of the Muslims don't get it done and they rely on pills, whereas like the non-Muslims are now like starting to like go away from pills and relying on natural healing. Yeah. So I was like, that's very true. Then he started talking about the Prophet ﷺ's diet. Yeah, and this is what really got me thinking. Yeah, he said that the Prophet that a lot of people are becoming vegans because it's a better lifestyle. But he said the Prophet ﷺ was not extreme in any way. Yeah, so even with him, his diet was mainly a vegan diet. ﷺ, vegan and vegetarian. But he would have meat every now. He wouldn't say no to meat. So every now and again he'd have meat. So ﷺ. So like he said that we should. Abdul Hakim was saying that we should have meat maybe like once a month, maybe twice a month, but generally we should have a vegetarian diet. And he said that the best way to explain the Prophet ﷺ's diet is like a flexitarian, so like mainly vegan, veggie, but would eat, you know, meat and stuff as well. Would drink milk and stuff as well. You can't, and that kind of stuff, but generally that kind of stuff. And this brother Abdul Hakim said that he was basically going on about how dairy is so bad for you. He's saying I don't drink dairy, but remember how me and Sam were saying that we don't like. I haven't had dairy. I haven't drunk milk, bro, in like alhamdulillah like a month or 2 now. And I feel so good for it, bro, because brother Abdul Hakim said that you'll find that a lot of Africans, Asians, Middle Eastern people like us, he said a lot of us are lactose intolerant, and a lot of us don't know it. So if you listen to this podcast now and you think that you have a bit of issues with your stomach and stuff, or the other thing is what's that stomach disease or whatever called? Not lactose tolerant, but
also
no. A lot of people have it and they get like diarrhea and stuff, huh?
Oh, diarrhea?
Yeah. I can't remember, but there's people probably screaming at the podcast again now.
Podcast again. Yeah.
Anyway, he said all of us have these stomach issues, and it's because we're not very good with dairy and stuff. We shouldn't be having them. So we should be having like soy milk, oat milk, that kind of stuff, almond milk. So that inspired me. So me and Om actually after that went and had a vegetarian meal after actually, and it felt really nice. So we've had, the vegetarian meals don't fill me up as much. But anyway, so I'm gonna try being a lot more vegetarian.
Yes, you know what? I was thinking exactly the same thing last week, but. It's so
Sam
hard.
says that as well.
It's so hard in an Asian household.
Yeah,
it's so difficult because like whenever I go back, there's always some kind of you know meat curry or meat roast or whatever
But bro, you're Bengali. You must have a lot of fish. He said fish is good.
Nah, I don't. To be honest, in our household, we don't have a lot of fish. Oh. Like we don't even have Bengali. Sorry to all the Bengalis out there that might be offended by this, but we don't have a lot of Bengali fish as well. Like the only time my mum will make fish is maybe like, huh?
I said, what kind of Bengali are you?
Huh?
I said, what kind of Bengali are you?
Not the one that's in touch with the food culture, let's say. I'm not like a massive like fan of, you know, fish. But like we have like more sea bass and stuff at home. Like mum will make more sea bass and salmon.
Oh, fair enough.
But like she won't make like fish curry in like she'll only make it maybe like once a month or maybe more than that even.
Yeah, my mum makes a good fish curry, to be honest.
Yeah. But we don't have too much.
So my normal aim is to fix our diets. I'll be like have way less dairy, less cheese. I love cheese, but have less cheese.
Yeah, I know.
And no dairy and that kind of stuff. But it's so inspiring, bro. Like the brother was so beautiful, bro. Like, you know when you meet someone, yeah, and you just like straight away like, this is such a beautiful brother.
Yeah.
That's what I felt as soon as I met this guy. And
that's how I felt when I first met you.
Alhamdulillah, we had such a beautiful time there, and then we bought some honey off him.
That was
And so I'm on this honey thing now. I'm on this hijama thing, and like, bro, it just felt good.
I really want to meet this guy. I really want to get this cupping done as well.
Yeah, bro, get it done. Honestly, it's good, bro. It's good.
Do you remember when we first met? That was quite a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, Zaha
productive. The Zaha shoot.
That was a really good day.
That was way back. It feels like it was a long time ago. It's actually less than a year ago.
Was it?
Yeah, it was only November last year.
November?
Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
But it feels like it's been...
Was that back from Gambia?
Yeah. After you came back from Gambia.
Really?
Yeah, and then I think that was like the second time Omar met Adil as well. And then we all just like,
that's mad,
Latz and Julian. That was crazy.
That is mad.
It really does feel like it's been way more than a year. Because so much has happened since then.
SubhanAllah.
Do you remember? And I remember going back and the next day you calling me and you're like, yeah, bro, you want to like swing by the office? I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I remember going back in the car with Omar and be like, bro, that Red guy is a good guy, man. You can just tell his personality is pure. Alhamdulillah. Bro, speaking of the weight loss stuff, yeah. Sorry, about diet stuff, about the sunnah and stuff like that. So Abdul Hakim, what he was saying, yeah, but he basically, this is a guy, he became really ill and stuff, so he started like doing hijama and stuff like that, and it really fixed him up, and he fixed up his diet. And what he said is that your diet can really affect you. Now, bro, he was talking about how he went to Dubai like a couple months ago, and he just like, his diet was awful and it affected him, blah, 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 because like out there, everything's halal, so you just munch a lot of junk. Bro, so when we went in Dubai, yeah, we were in there 5 days, so I treated Dubai like I'm just going to go all out kind of thing, because my diet was good before Dubai and stuff like that. So bro, I'm in Dubai now, yeah, and I'm munching McDonald's, KFC, Subway, like I'm munching the maddest food every day, day in, day out. Hardee's, ice cream sandwiches, cookie sandwiches, all this kind of stuff, yeah. Going all out, enjoying it while I had it, yeah. Well, I come back to London, yeah. First of all, I put on a lot of weight in 5 days. Just 5 days, I put on a lot of weight. Secondly, bro, I went to the gym the first day and I felt so slow, so sluggish, so weak. And bro, normally, what a lot of people will know who go to the gym is that if you go to the gym for a long amount of time and then you take 1 week off, when you come back very strong. For some reason, I don't know the science behind it, because I don't know too much about gym, but you come back feeling strong. Maybe like your muscles have had a nice rest, I don't know. But I came back the opposite, yeah. I ended up injuring myself. I started having like sharp pains in my back, my shoulders injured, my back's injured. Alhamdulillah, the hijama, inshallah, would have fixed it, because actually since then I haven't really been getting the pain. I know it's only been like less than 24 hours. My point is, bro, that I didn't realize that your diet really does affect your body, but diet affects your body.
Yeah.
Like, Ajmal was talking to me about it. Ajmal was like, bro, like even just taking that 5 days out to just eat like anything you want, bro, like I don't recommend it, bro. Like it's mad. And even Abdul Hakim was saying yesterday, like your diet affects your body. And bro, I'm now someone who's experienced that, and it's not a good idea. Like if you go on holiday, basically, you know this idea of having a cheat day. Abdul Hakim was saying that's a good idea, because what you then do is like you only have 1 day where you go all out, and then most of the time that you discipline yourself. Whereas when you take, because just 5 days just eating rubbish all day every day, bro, bruv, I felt the effects on my body and it did not feel good. I felt fat, I felt sluggish, I didn't feel confident in my body. So that's just the mental stuff. Then physically I was weak, I was getting injuries, my form was off. I felt like it's just horrible.
Bro, it's the same. To be fair, yeah, I've been out of like being like doing any proper exercise for about 1.5 years. After I broke my leg, it's been like really inconsistent. So I went back into like Muay Thai, started doing Thai boxing. Then and after that stopped, that stopped around like when I met you. So that was almost 1 year back, and I hadn't really started doing any kind of like anything to like increase my fitness since then. Yeah, and my diet was off. Like now, I'm probably the largest I've ever like been in a long time. Yeah. Like in terms of weight, like way
You know
heavier.
how much
than
you
I
weigh?
am. Right now I weigh around 75, 76 kg.
But I weigh 79.
Huh?
I weigh 79, so I'm probably like fatter than you.
I don't know, man. It's probably bone density. Trust me. But yeah. So like
The
that.
camera went completely shut off now.
Yeah.
The battery died.
No, I think the battery's fine, but it's just turned off.
Oh yeah, carry on.
But in terms of fitness, it affects you so much because like I went back to the gym with Sim. Sim is one of our interns at Flavor, and I did deadlifts after like maybe a year and a half, and like bro, the injury that I had, gained after doing that was something like I've never felt in my life before. And that's just
yeah, you got that injury with the back, yeah.
Bro, I was out for like 2-3 days. Like I could not move, bro. I couldn't even breathe when I moved. Like I came in to see Karimov, and obviously it was the day of the dinner. This was while you were in
you
Dubai.
didn't go to the dinner, did you?
No, and I came into
that?
work, but because I was so restless and because I couldn't move at all, I had to go home.
Bro, form in gym is so important. I know we're speaking like a
Man.
couple gym heads, like, I mean, no, but form is so important, bro.
Yeah, form is 100% important. But the thing is, the form is affected by your, how disciplined you are and how your diet and how heavy you are and stuff like that as well. Like like form is gained from that discipline. Like,
yeah, that's why you got to do like light, start
Yeah,
light.
yeah.
But another thing that's affected my body recently, is bro, every winter when it starts getting really cold, I go through this stage of like having the driest lips. It's so annoying, yeah. And I'm going for it now, and I really need to get that. I always get that Nivea men's lip balm, and it helps so much because right now, bro, it feels horrible. Do you get dry skin in the winter?
I get dry. To be honest, whenever I eat, my lips go dry as hell. I don't know what it is.
Even
it
in the
goes
summer?
white. But I don't. I have like naturally oily skin, so I don't really. But don't get addicted to that stuff, bro.
Why?
Because my brother can't leave the house without having a Vaseline or some kind of lip balm on him, bro. Like, I'm not joking. I've seen like 3 or 4 people that I know personally, really close, addicted to the stuff.
Why?
But they just can't leave it. And because they use it so much, their lips become like used to like having something to like moisturize them. But then as soon as they don't use it, like they become chapped.
That's weird.
My brother cannot leave the house.
I just read it now, but I'll try my best not to get. I haven't been addicted to it yet, so
Yeah,
it should be good.
yeah.
But before we go into current events, but there's so many current events to even like go off on and like talk about. But I wanted to talk a bit about Off Center, which is like your your photography walk and stuff that you're doing. I think it's interesting. And like you're getting a bunch of creatives together and you're pushing this movement of like being creative basically. Talk to me about Off Center. What is it?
Alhamdulillah, bro. Like, okay, so it's something that me and my cousin Ibrahim. So I started photography, but not too long ago, about summer 2015, and been doing it since then, and just learning everything myself really. And my cousin like got into it about 8 months after me, and he's turned into like a really creative guy as well. Neither of us have actually got any background in that creative field. Like I studied engineering, he studied accounting and finance. So we had like a plan to kind of just create a meet on Instagram, off of Instagram, for a long time, because people haven't really met us and don't really. I don't show my face on Instagram at all as well.
Oh yeah.
It's just my work.
Have you shown your face yet on Instagram?
What's that?
Have you shown your face yet on Instagram?
No. Not at all. I've only got one personal account that I have like for family and friends.
Oh really?
It. Yeah.
I don't have that. You haven't added me on that.
I've added you on it from a long time ago.
Oh.
I'm sure I have.
I mean,
I'll add you later. But anyway, so we had that in the plans for a long time. So we were like, you know what? July this year, we were like, let's plan something. Let's get people together. And we ended up doing like a little meet. And bro, like I had no idea, but 30 people turned up. And it just turned into like this little like beautiful kind of conglomeration of like all these creatives, and they're all, exchanging ideas and exchanging how they do things. And I'm not kidding. Some of the people that came in and their work looked a bit amateur, bro. After the meet, after having just exchanging a couple of ideas, within like a week or so, they were pushing out content that had way higher quality than I could have ever imagined.
But you could really expand this and do like photography courses and stuff.
So that's what I'll get onto that. So then we were like, you know what? This could actually become a thing. We should put a name to. We should make it like a community and a movement. And so on the first walk, we met one guy called Salman. who's a beautiful soul. He's just like us, and you know has the same kind of mindset. He's a slightly older brother, so he's really well connected with the older kind of generation. But he's just as creative, and so we took him out. We brought him on board. We were like, look, we would love to have your input and kind of be one of the co-founders of this thing. So me, my cousin, and him have basically just been putting out events for almost every year and a half, every month and a half. And this next event that's happening on the 22nd of October is our biggest one, because it's a turning point and will kind of set the tone for the rest that happen. And it's the first one that we put on Eventbrite, and so you need like tickets to get into it. And we, you know, like all the tickets have been booked, and it was 150 people out of 150 people in like less than 7 days. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, it's just the intention behind it is basically we wanted to create a platform for people to physically meet each other, because social media is one thing, but actually meeting one another is another.
Yeah, man, networking is so important nowadays.
And like the kids of our generation and the ones before, like they're gonna start to learn that networking is such a massive deal when it comes to like paving a career path for yourself. And we wanted to be able to provide that for people younger. Bro, like we have one beautiful little a guy called Adam. He's only 14 years old. He comes to every single walk.
Really?
Yeah, and like I'm just excited to what kind of man he becomes to be, because he's so talented. And his older sister, Maria, who's an amazing photographer. She just went to Hajj and did photography over there. Brought back some beautiful visuals. Her name's Just Me Breathing on Instagram. You should go and check her out. Like if you see her pictures, they're some of the most emotive pictures I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Subhanallah, like, and her younger brother comes to the events and he's like learning off of it, and it's beautiful to see that the youth can benefit from something like this.
Yeah, creativity, making like
opportunities. And the thing is, obviously, you know, like right now we live in a generation where anyone can be a photographer, anyone can pick up a camera and, you know, shoot and learn.
Even just on your iPhone.
Yeah, exactly, bro. We have like tons of people that just come for the networking benefits, but also just to, you know, just be around, and they bring their iPhones and just like, you know, one guy came and he shot the whole thing with his iPhone, like a video. But yeah, we intend to like take it further and further, see where it goes. It was in an experimental phase, but I think we're gaining a better idea of what we want it to become eventually, inshallah. But yeah, bro, like before you start anything, the intention's got to be, you know, on point. You just got to know where you want to take it and how you want it to benefit people before looking at it from like a monetary perspective.
Bro, it's so important to like benefit people.
Yeah.
The fact that you're able to like benefit people younger than you and stuff as well, and give people a head start in life, bro. Yeah. It's actually reminded me of this thing. Yeah, this article that I read the other day, and it was about bro, like making it in this day and age is so mad, especially in London. Yeah, it said that it was an article showing how much 500k can get you in London and other places in the UK, bro. Yeah. I told you this, innit?
Yeah.
Listen, bro, in London, 500k gets you a 2-bedroom flat in Clapham, and they had pictures, and it looked like not a clustered, but like a small congested flat. Yeah, that's what £500,000, £500,000 gets you. Yeah, in Clapham, in London. Whereas if you just go out a bit, 2 hours down the road in Birmingham, it gets you like I think it was like a 3-bedroom apartment that was really nice, and it looked really nice and spacious. And then like it was going further out. In Liverpool, you could get like a whole yard basically in different parts of the UK. In some parts of the UK, you get like a massive, amazing, beautiful 6-bed or something like that, like a beautiful house, for £500,000. Whereas here, you get a 2-bedroom flat that's congested. Yeah, it's mad. Like London's becoming. Bro,
I lived in Brighton for about a good part of like 4 or 5 months, and 4 months or so, and I was paying like 350 quid for a month there.
That's mad. That is cheap.
Nothing.
That is cheap.
And over here it's almost 4 times more.
But here you can't even get a bedroom for that.
Yeah.
Here a room costs £500 a month.
Yeah, there you go. It's so cheap.
Remember Kareem was renting a room in Brixton for £500 a month.
Oh my lord.
That's mad, bro. It doesn't help that we're spending money like £1,000 on iPhones and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna lie. Like you do have, I have an issue of like not spending rashly, I'd say. But for example, like I just got a new camera, by the way.
Yeah. So you told me
Yeah, I
yesterday,
told you, right? So
But when is it coming?
it's coming on the 11th,
Oh,
inshallah. But again, like, now that I think about it, do I really needed it?
You have a really good camera.
Alhamdulillah, the camera that I'm using, alhamdulillah, is really good. But what I wanted to do is invest in a better camera so I can do more jobs.
Yeah, but you're investing in yourself, bro.
Exactly. So for me, that's an investment. But again, going down to like nitty gritty, thinking about whether I really needed it or not, I would say I wouldn't. And so, yeah, that kind of mindset doesn't exactly help when you live in a place like London. For example, I bought a new phone as well just now as well, but I needed that.
Yeah, of course.
Because my phone was gone.
And you didn't buy an iPhone X, did you?
Yeah,
No.
I was very close to. But
well, I updated my iPhone software the other day and it's had so many issues, but they've just released another version, so I need to update that today because
have you got the iPhone 6?
6S.
6S, okay, yeah. For anyone that has 6 or less, I wouldn't recommend updating your software.
Really?
Yeah, because it takes up quite a bit of memory.
Yeah, I just need to. It has issues, this software, but they've just released another version, so I think they fixed the bugs. So I'm going to do that today to fix my bugs, because it has caused me issues. Yeah. Right. With that being said, should we go into current events, bro?
Yeah. Let's take a quick break.
Sam. Yeah.
Take a quick break because your thing's logged out for some reason.
Okay. Current events. Red one. It's just not the same.
It's
as
the same without Sam. Sam's
same.
got this like weird tone that you just
I
said
felt
that
awful doing that without Sam. I feel like I just betrayed him.
It's alright. It's okay.
That's the first current event.
So first current event we got. Google's just come out with like this really cool tiny little camera, which has got its own AI infused in it, and it recognizes you when you go by and stuff. But they're like suggesting that they leave it everywhere for security reasons and stuff.
What? It's like a CCTV camera.
Almost, but it's tiny. Like you can't even see it. Like it's really small.
Oh, but they haven't released it to the public.
No, not yet.
What would the public use it for? I don't understand. So it's not like a GoPro.
It's even smaller.
No, but like what? Could I use it like to vlog and stuff? You mean?
Yeah.
So it's not.
You could use it for anything.
Okay.
But like people are saying it's a bit creepy.
What does it do? It does what? Face recognizes what?
Yeah, it's got facial recognition on it. It's basically it's got its own AI, so there's a lot of data collection that you can.
Oh, so you kind of customize it.
Yeah.
That sounds quite sick.
The thing is, I don't know. Are you one of them people that basically covers your camera on your?
I didn't used to, but yes, I do need to start doing that again because I did do that at uni because I saw a picture. It's a very famous picture of Mark Zuckerberg. A picture of him. Have you seen this picture?
No.
Okay, so there's a picture of Mark Zuckerberg, with a Mac. I think he has an Apple laptop. Or regardless, it was Mark Zuckerberg has his laptop, and it's like a professional picture for his like Facebook or something. And in the background on his laptop, you can see that he's covered his camera.
Really?
Yeah. And then so loads of people started covering the camera because they said if the owner of Facebook, who's like mad on security, covers his own camera, your camera should be covered, G.
Oh.
So yeah, I actually do. I used to cover my camera, and I don't know why I haven't, but I'm gonna do that again.
Okay, but basically, do
you cover your camera?
Nah, I don't.
Bro, Mark Zuckerberg does, but that's something we're thinking about, you know. My man owns Facebook, and he does it.
Thing is, for me, it would be such an issue because I'm such a like nitpicky guy. So like, if there's like ugly, a piece of tape on there, I'm just like, it's gonna bug at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looked ugly for me as well. I took it off eventually,
but basically, that's like come out and it's kind of had a lot of social implications because people think it's a bit of a breach of privacy.
Bro, it's a breach of privacy if you use it. Like, I mean, like not if you use it, but if you use it the wrong way, like you can't really argue that like by someone creating something is a breach of privacy because then that's like saying, oh, creating the internet is a breach of privacy because of what you could do with it. Bro, people are just trying to make money, trying to make new innovations. And yes, if used in certain ways, they can be like used badly. Yeah. So, if, for example, someone uses it in the wrong way, then yes, that is a breach of privacy. If someone creates the product, that's not really a breach of privacy, is it? Like, bro, but one thing that is cool that I was just thinking about is imagine if you put it in the office and then like, let's say if like Omar's not in the office, like he's away, and then you open the door and then like the camera's like right at the front and then it like sends a notification to Omar saying like Red has just come in the office because it could detect your face.
Yeah, that's sick.
That is sick. That's kind of creepy.
Sick. Again, like with all like kind of innovations and stuff, they come with like the good and bad sides. I think it's with anything. Like technically, actually no, I'm not gonna go into it because it might be a bit too controversial. But anyway, it kind of reminds me of that movie, The Circle. If you've heard of it.
Yeah, no,
It's with Tom Hanks and I
What
forgot
is
the
it?
other
What is
actor.
it?
So it's about so the circle's almost like portrayed as like, you know, the typical like Google, Apple type of place where people can go and work, and they basically invent this innovation where like it's a tiny camera where you can't even see it. It's like a little bead, and they put it everywhere. But the whole movie centered around like human rights implications and like how it can be a massive breach of like privacy and stuff like that.
Did you know that
globally.
Islamically spying is a major sin?
Right, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a major sin. So, like, bro, if I didn't know, I would have cameras everywhere. Not because to spy on people, but I just like to know. I like to be in know of everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I recently installed this camera on outside my house that is sick. I would recommend it, man, to anyone. So it's called Arlo, and what it does is you have an iPhone app, and you can always, like right now, I can go on my iPhone app, I can see live what's happening outside my house. I can hear, I can see everything, and it's HD, yeah? Now, at any point, I could take a picture, and I can record, yeah?
Okay.
But it's not always recording, but I can record, yeah? And if someone comes knock on my door, I can speak through my phone, and it comes out the speaker.
No way.
And the camera, so I can be like, hi, can I help you? And then they can be like, oh, hi, I've just come to a parcel. I'm like, yeah, just leave it there. Do you know what I mean?
That's
it.
it.
Now, it gets even sicker. It has night mode as well. So at night time, it turns on night mode so you can see the people at night. Right. And also, it has, so it doesn't always, like, it's not constantly recording because obviously that'll take up so much space. But what it does do is every time it detects motion, it starts recording.
That's amazing.
So I can check right now. So like the last part, so for example, the postman always comes to my house around like between 11 and 11:30. I can see because so when it detects motion that the postman's there, it starts recording. So it does record every time it detects something,
right? Which
is really cool. So for example, I can see. So the reason that here's one thing that was quite cool about it. Look, so I can see now that the last thing that happened outside my house was at 11:35 a.m. The post lady came and dropped the post off like she does every day around this time, and she's actually smiling. So maybe she got a nice text. But anyway, it is a bit creepy because that's like a bit like spying. But my intention isn't to spy. My intention is to protect my house. Yeah, I got my like wife and that in my house. And also like, let's say for example, my wife's not wearing her hijab, and someone's come to drop a parcel. Now she'd have to put her hijab on, put on an abaya. So instead, she could just speak through the camera and say, "Hey, could you just leave the package outside?"
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
But another thing why it's beneficial is the other day I left the house, and I couldn't remember if I left my I couldn't remember if I brought my laptop out with me, and I wasn't in my car. I was walking, so I was quite far from my car. So I was like, "Oh, is my laptop in my car or not? I can't remember." So then I checked my camera to see if I left my house with my bag, and I did. How convenient is that?
It's amazing.
But the bad side is that like if I'm running late for something, like the other day I was late for like a lunch with my siblings, and then my sister who has the app on her phone saw what time I left, and she was like, "Why did you leave so late?"
Wait, does it have an internal memory? Is it all on your phone?
It's cloud based.
That's so amazing.
Sick. And you can upgrade the clouds. So it's got a certain amount of... Oh, and it's got an alarm on it. So if you see that someone's broken into your house, you press alarm wirelessly. By the way, you could do this wherever you are in the world, yeah? You can speak... like, even if I'm in Dubai, I could speak saying, "Hi, can I help you?" from anywhere. It's not like based on Bluetooth or anything. And it has an alarm system that I can trigger it at any point, and it's so loud that it will like be heard by like the surrounding houses on the whole street.
What's it called?
Arlo, ARLO.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds like an actual... Like if I ever made a robot, I'd probably call it Arlo.
Yeah,
that's the kind
of.
It's
name. Sick, bro. It's sick, and it makes me feel so much secure because if there's one thing I want to do is protect my house. Do you know what I mean? Because I think your house is your base, and so I have a security system. So recently, this past year, I installed a security system in my house that is also has an iPhone app. So you can when you leave your house, you can set it through the app, and then it's by ADT, which is like a sick, it's the most well-known burglar alarm system, and so I've got a security system set up in my house, and it's got motion detectors. So anytime someone motion is detected in my house, the alarm goes off, and it can call the police. And I get a phone call as well. And now I've got the camera as well. So it's important to me because the thing that's most important to me is safety, and not my safety as much as the safety of the people I love the most. And I think you can't put a price on that. Yeah.
Cool.
Bro, I I really need to pee.
I can see that coming.
So hard, bro. I'm like here at similar chair. Should we take? I know we just agreed, but I need to pee. So can we take a quick break? Okay, we're back. What's the next current event, Red?
Next current event.
I'm feeling good.
We're going to talk about the Las Vegas shooting.
Ah, yes.
I mean, it's about time we addressed it. I'm really sad for the people and for the loss.
Bruv, 50 people died.
Was it 50?
At least.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like over 500.
It's gone down as the worst like American shooting in history.
Yeah.
In US history, modern history anyway.
Bro, the maddest thing is that like it's so sad what's happened, obviously, and I know everybody's saying it's so sad, and like the loss of life is always so sad. One thing I'm confused about is that his girlfriend said like, "Oh, he's the nicest guy ever. He's so calm."
This is reading is,
and also like he was in he's an old man in a retirement home and stuff.
Yeah, she just said that she had no idea that it was actually brewing in the background because he's really quiet and nice and kind, and she just didn't realize that he's the type of person that could be leading that kind of secret life, and that's kind of scary because it makes you think anyone's capable of anything.
But if my man was a Muslim, bro, it would have been like next degree. But it would have been such a bigger deal. Like, bro, I've heard, that apparently ISIS claimed it.
Really?
Yeah, so basically, apparently the same day ISIS claimed it, they said that the guy reverted to Islam a few months ago. And because, bro, they want to obviously instill fear, so they want to claim everything, yeah? But like the media, the mainstream media, I haven't seen it once in mainstream media saying that ISIS have claimed it, but I've seen it on like other media outlets or like it's been spread that the ISIS claimed it. But imagine if it was actually a Muslim, and ISIS claimed it then, like it would be all over the news that it was ISIS that did it. But now ISIS claimed it, and like because it was like a old white guy, they're not even like bringing it up because like it doesn't fit their narrative. Do you know what I mean? Like, bruv, at the end of the day, a crazy person killing innocent people is a crazy person killing innocent people. And it also, like, as much as I'm not trying to put this focus on Islam, bruv, like, it strengthens the argument that the media has a real, like, issue with Islam.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, bruv, this is just about the fact that, like, innocent people died. The one crazy man who had, like, explosives and guns and stuff, like...
Yeah.
Who was apparently like the nicest guy. Clearly not if he had that many explosives and stuff. Like even if you had one explosive, but what the flip? Like you're not a nice guy if you got explosives. End of story. I don't know how much to say about it, man. Everyone spoke about it so much. Like it's just some crazy man. Can't believe it.
Last thing on the agenda is basically a study that UCL did recently. So it's to do with bullying.
Is UCL the University College of London?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's one of the top unis in the world and in London. They did a study on 11,000 twins, yeah? So whatever they've gathered from this study is fairly valid.
Does that mean 22,000 people? If it's 11,000 twins? Or is it like 11,000
No, I think it's 11,000
people. So 5,500 sets of twins.
Yeah, basically.
Wow, that's a lot of twins.
That's a lot, right?
I don't even know. I know like one twins.
Yeah, I don't know how many like people you have to sample before saying like a study can be quite conclusive, but
that's quite a lot.
That's quite a lot of people, to be fair.
Whatever they say, I'm gonna believe.
So they're saying that people that actually go through bullying are less likely to be derailed in life and build a quite a resilient character in their later years.
They're less likely to.
Yeah, they're less likely to be derailed, which for me was the complete. I would have thought the complete opposite.
Hold on, what? Say that again.
So a person that is... So say you've gone to school.
Yeah.
And from a young age, you've been exposed to bullying, yeah?
Yes.
You're less likely to become derailed.
What's derailed?
Derailed meaning, falling out of education, being less of a direction, having less of a direction in life in general, and having less mental problems.
What's the reason that they gave?
They say that, being exposed to that at young ages basically gives your mind the opportunity to kind of deal with problems at a young age, and once you've overcome that, you don't really see it as a... I don't know how to explain.
That makes sense though, what you're saying.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm not saying I don't want to victimize myself here at all as well, but I've experienced bullying firsthand as well. Like I had friends here and there in secondary school, but you know, in the back, I experienced a lot. Like I took a lot of crap from a lot of people, and I used to kind of think in my head, like, and this is around the age of like 13 and 14. I never really thought of it much before then, but now that I think back, I used to tell myself, oh, you know what? Maybe he's just got like a really hard time at home, or he's having a bad day, or he's got a bad life or whatever. Maybe that's why he's just taking it out on me. And for people that are bullied to be thinking in that way, I know for a fact that I know some of my cousins that have thought like that as well. To be bullied and have that kind of mindset from such a young age shows that you have a certain level of maturity when you're exposed to like difficult situations like that.
That's true.
And that's when that's where that kind of resilience kind of bursts from, and it kind of does make sense to me.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I have no I have no experience in it or anything, but alhamdulillah, I wasn't bullied. Neither was I a bully. I hope.
I can imagine you're a cool guy. Guy, Fas.
Nah, I was not cool, but I was just like kept myself. I didn't keep myself to myself, but I tried to not.
Yeah.
Annoy people somewhat. I don't know.
Yeah.
But from the outside looking in, I can see how bullying. I mean, I did go for one or two things very rarely where like I felt myself being a bit victimized, but not really, to like a big extent. I can see how maybe if someone has been bullied at a young age, perhaps that is like the hardest thing to go through, because you're at a stage where you can't really stick up for yourself. You're very young. You're not like mature, and so being bullied at a young age must be the most difficult thing, because even if you go through trauma when you're older, like, I don't know, experiencing really bad illness and stuff, you're older, and so your mind's more developed. So I suppose like bullying must be one of the hardest things to ever go through, and so to go through it, you must become hardened, and like, not that we should be looking at positive of bullying, because bullying shouldn't be acceptable at all, but do you know what I mean? I can see where the link is created, I suppose.
Yeah.
But having no experience kind of dealing with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it says even that, you know, people that have been bullied, children that have been bullied, like, you know, as you grow older, like, you actually become more tolerant to things like anxiety, depression, and hyperactivity, and you have like less behavioral problems, and you actually have more control, which is like really interesting. Not to say that I condone bullying in any sort of way, but it's just an interesting thing to see. But yeah, that's a recent study that's been released by UCL, and it's interesting to kind of look into.
There's a lot of charities who do good anti-bullying work.
Yeah.
Speaking of charities, what is your opinion on people charging? Have we spoken about the whole idea of charging charities and stuff? We haven't been on Fresh Uganda before.
I don't think I've spoken about it. Maybe you have with Sam.
So, yeah, I think I spoke about Sam, and I think we had different opinions and stuff. But I'd like to have the mentality that I would like to be at a stage in my life where I never had to charge a charity to do anything, and all the money goes towards its proceeds. Yeah. However, being a Muslim influencer, and with my goal in life to be a full-time Muslim influencer, etc., and build my brand, if you're Muslim and you're an influencer, the majority of things that you're going to get booked for is charity events. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, imagine if I accepted every charity event and I did it for free. This is definitely a controversial topic, but it's something that we should talk about. Imagine if I did every single charity event, I did it all for free. I would be taking time out of my day where I could earn money to survive, to support my wife and family, to do this stuff, and then even though I love it, and I love performing and talking in front of people and stuff, so I would actually do it for free if I had the ability to. But right now I don't have the ability to, yeah. So like I said, the majority of events I get asked to be booked for are charity events. Yeah, let's just clarify. Let me be a bit more clear and straightforward. The majority of events that I get asked to be booked for are charity events. Mm-hmm. Now, often I will charge. Yeah, I don't think I charge extortionate amounts, but I charge. Yeah. Reason being is because that is like my job. Yeah, and now if I was to, I don't get booked. And many Muslim influencers will get booked for private events that are not charity based. And so let's say if I was to even accept everything, I was to do let's say 3-4 events a week, yeah, where let's say if the event starts at 6 even, I've got to prepare for it, I've got to plan, I've got to write, I've got to which says it's not just a 2-hour event. It's like a couple of days before you got a plan, you got to travel, you got to do this, you got to do that. If it's outside London, you got to stay the night somewhere else, etc., etc. Now, if I wasn't to charge, I'll be losing money here. And if the demand was enough, I'd probably do it full time, and I would have no other way of making money, and then I'd have no way to support my family, right? Which is my job, which is my duty. Now, often you find that charities, like I say, if I had the ability to, I would love to do charity work for free all the time. But often you find that charities will then try and somewhat, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but you feel some sort of guilt because you're told, what we're trying to do is save money. Like they'll try and ask you to do it for free, basically, and they'll say the reason is because we're trying to get as much money to the charity. So essentially, what you're being told is you're put in a tricky situation where you're being told. Essentially, what you're being roundabout told is if we want to pay you, we'd have to take money out of instead of feeding orphans or something, we have to give the money to you. That's almost obviously no one's ever told me that directly, but that's almost what you're being told. Oh, we were trying to give as much money to charities, that's why we can't think. Now, I find that there's a big problem with that because you're asking somebody, and regardless of whether you have dedicated your time or not, you're asking somebody to come and do what their job is and do it for free, yeah? And not get paid for it. Now, if someone was a person who is very financially stable and wasn't relying on that for the income, fine. However, putting someone in that position, I find can be a bit awkward because I get put in that position very often, yeah? Now, you might say, fine, what's the solution?
Yeah.
Yeah? Hold on, I can't remember where I was going with this. Oh, so I'm talking about...
you wanted to know my opinion on basically charging charities, but that's...
Charging charities. But also, the other thing was this, yeah? It was the idea of charities making, or representatives making you feel somewhat guilty for charging them.
It's almost... I don't want to say it, but...
Be honest with me, bro. If you think that,
for me, okay, as nice as a person might be, or as nice as your approach could be in saying something like that, it's borderline manipulative.
I agree. And bro, this was my argument, sorry. First of all, a lot of people in charities are making money because they do that for a living as well. Yeah. Second of all, there are a lot of charities that are donation based, and may Allah bless them. They don't take any money. In my opinion, if you're at a stage where you're not able to do all charity events for free, I think that the solution is to privately increase your charity that nobody knows about, so that you feel, so that you are doing your bit, kind of thing. So, do a lot of charity privately, and also do something where you dedicate your time for free. So, for example, I'll give you an example. Early on when I started this YouTube stuff, I was sat with a nasheed artist, and I said to him, bro, you're a nasheed artist, this is what you do full time, this is how you make your money, yeah? Majority of events that you give it for must be charity events. How do they not try and make you feel guilty, or do you not feel guilty for charging charity events? He said, bro, this is how I do it. I have to provide for my family, I have to have a roof over my head. This is my full-time job, and this is what I do. So what I do in order to balance it out is I will pick one event every month that I'll do for free, fi sabilillah. That's how he goes about it.
Okay.
My way is that I've chosen Spot as... First of all, Allah knows whether I do charity or not privately, first of all. Yeah? And that's between me and Allah. Second of all, I've chosen a charity which is Spot. And for Spot, I will never charge money. So I do Spot charity events, whether they're in Manchester, I do one every year in Manchester, whether it's going to Gambia, whether it's making videos for them, all this kind of stuff. I'll never charge. So I'm not trying to be pious, because I'm not trying to come across like I'm doing a good deed, bro, because essentially I will be the first one to say that I should do all charity events for free. That would be the correct thing to do, and that would be the most admirable thing to do. So I'm not saying that what I'm doing is admirable, but I think that it's somewhat fair that if a charity is putting something together, they should have a budget for speakers and for the venue and stuff, and which they always do. And it's not I don't see it's completely unfair to charge, because at the end of the day, the person is doing their job. And if my job is to go and spread goodness in any way I can, and by doing that also support a charity by speaking at the event and maybe like helping them sell more tickets to raise more money for charity, and take a small fee so that I can carry on doing it.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think that that's that much of a bad thing. But my point here is that I often feel that I'm backed into a corner. I'm really trying not to victimize myself, because that's a bad thing as well. And we should not have the personality where we try and victimize ourselves. We should have the personality where we like take things on the chin.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a discussion to be had, that should you be charged charities, or should it be a universal thing where you shouldn't charge charities? Because there's also the argument where, you know what, you shouldn't charge charities, and so fine, just it's better to turn down the ones. If you can't do it, turn it down. If you can't do it for free, that's a good argument to have. Or you could argue, bro, do the charity events for free and Allah will provide. You know, all of these things are valuable and feasible arguments. But it's just an open discussion that I would love to have opinions on. But yeah, that's where I stand on them. And I thought it was important to have that chat and try and like figure out kind of, I don't know, what's right and what's wrong, or what other people's opinions are on them.
I think there's always diplomatic ways of thinking about something like that and, dealing with it. In my opinion, bro, you've worked years and years to, build up your brand, and, this is what you live off of. And as you said, like, there's no kind of, for me, there's no kind of wrong in, charging charities where you need to, because this is what you live off of. This is how you have your roof over your head. And I don't know who you mentioned saying that, your friend.
Okay, yeah.
I agree with what he says completely and wholeheartedly. But I do agree, like there are ways of finding solutions in where the charity and
increase your private deeds and stuff.
Yeah. And there's always ways of seeing that both of you benefit from it. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. Especially
charities where, because there's a lot of charities out there where the people get paid, which is fine as well, bro. Like, I'm a big avid supporter of Human Relief Foundation, where I know the brothers there, they get paid. Why? Because that's a full-time job. They're literally there full-time, and so they have to get paid because that's what they do. Now, however, if a person is getting paid for doing their job, am I not in the same boat? I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
And so I'm also, for that like small part, I'm also an employee of this company. Not an employee per se, but a private contractor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like everyone else is allowed to get paid apart from the person who is doing the thing. I don't know. It's a tough discussion to have. I don't want to sound bitter or salty, but I also want to try and figure out a just way where I don't come across rude. People don't come across rude. I don't know. It's a tough situation, and but I've had a lot of discussions with people who are in the scene and who are in the industry, and most people I know, they charge and they don't feel guilty about doing it because at the end of the day they've got children and stuff. I don't know. It's an interesting thing, man. Interesting thing. And it's a nice way, I suppose, to end off the podcast on a bit of a open-ended question. So, guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. And if you haven't got this far, alhamdulillah, let us know how you found it, like not having Sam on, and what it's been like to like have an episode where it's just been me and Red. If you guys prefer for us to still put out an episode every Friday, I think that's something that I would prefer and carry on doing. Inshallah, Sam will be back next week. Inshallah, we'll have a guest as well. With that being said, guys, look after yourselves. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.